My name is Mitchell Stanton, he, him. I am in the Masters of Environmental Life and Sciences at Brandon University, and my research is in synthetic organic chemistry, focusing on making a fluorescent probe for protein isolation and using NHC carbines that are anchored to gold. NHCs is an acronym for N-heterocyclic carbines. They were discovered in the early 60s, and then in 1990s they were employed in organic chemistry as catalysts, and then recently they have been explored in material sciences, especially their ability to bond to gold. So their interesting qualities and characteristics are they're extremely robust in terms of their counterparts, which are thiol-based or sulfur-based. So those kind of adsorb to gold versus these form a covalent bond. They stick really well. You can use them over a ton of conditions, acidic, basic, and they don't fall off or degrade like their counterparts. They're also very tunable for whatever application you're using, which is really nice. And then in material science, they've been recently explored as biosensors, probes, and other uses for protein quantification, isolation, and other materials like that. And otherwise, they're also just really cool molecules. Practical application would be used as an analytical tool, probably used more in biology or biochemistry or analytical chemistry, which could eventually make its way into, if you wanted to really broaden the scope, into medicine or healthcare or something like that. That's a really far down the road, which would be pretty cool. It's a molecular fishing rod because the proteins that you get, they're all on a molecular scale that you can't really see. Just like fishing, this is a really funny analogy that my supervisor explained to me and I adopted it. The NHC carbine, they bind to gold, which would be like a person in a fishing boat, and they're hanging on to your fishing rod. And your fishing rod would be the gold in the NHC that you're anchored to. And then you have your line that extends, and then at the end of it you have a hook, and that hook is the other half of what I'm working on, which is a fluorescent probe. And that hook you can change for catching different types of fish, different lengths of your rod, those kind of characteristics. If you throw a hook into water, you're going to catch a fish. If you, depending on what kind of hook you use, you can catch different types of fish. So that analogy transfers right over. If you have a hook, you can attach different types of hooks to this NHC and catch different proteins with it, or make it more specific to what you're trying to look or capture. Chemistry, I've just always kind of been interested in it and knowing how everything works. And the smallest scale that you can get on that you can feasibly work before it becomes theoretical is more so chemistry. And then in terms of getting into organic chemistry, my supervisor, Dr. Hill, teaches organic chemistry. I took all of his classes and then kind of found that I enjoyed this area of chemistry, mainly because you're basically playing with like Lego on an atomic scale, which is just building everything according to instructions, kind of like following a Lego manual when you're building something. But getting into the protein tagging isolation part of it, that was kind of more so I had to find something to do with the first part of this project, and then I ended up realizing these have very interesting characteristics for protein tagging isolation, so we just took that and ran with it. Also, my undergrad, I worked with these NHC carbines, but they were with catalysts more so, and I just discovered and did some reading and research that different areas of chemistry you can perform and utilize these with, and then did the catalyst part of it and then applied it to a totally different area with protein tagging, and that's essentially how that came to be. It's been a long road, but it's been good, which is always nice. It's had its challenges, just like everything. From the undergrad degree, I did my honors with Dr. Hill, and then he approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing a master's with him. That kind of got me more stimulated and excited about the research part of it, and then also doing my honors with him got me more interested in the research. And then going from master's student to presenting at a national conference, that's a pretty surreal feeling, pretty exciting. I've stood in front of people and presented before, but never on this scale or this scope where it's going to be a bunch of chemistry doctors or master's student or fellow master students, which is a pretty exciting feeling that you get to go out and explain people what you're researching here and how it works, what it applies to, and it's just an overall great opportunity and experience. Conference is CSC, Chemistry Society Canada, and has about 2,000 to 3,000 people. The advice I would give is make sure that it's something you enjoy, something that you're passionate about, or that at the end of the day you can go home and you still enjoy it, and it's not gonna drive you crazy. Stay kind, stay humble to everybody. That's a very important thing in science, especially because once you get into your master's, you'll get in a little bit of a more niche area, and you'll know more than some people, they'll know more than you, and always have your integrity and be nice to everybody, and make sure you have fun in the process of doing it, because that's half of the experience, is just having fun and learning about yourself and also the science you're doing. I'm gonna finish my master's here. I was teaching undergrad organic chemistry labs last year. I hope to be doing that again this year, and then from there kind of see where I'm at, because I can take this project and turn it into a PhD. There's a lot more research that could be done, but with the scope of what I'm doing, it would be way too big of a project for a master's student, and even then it's still a pretty big project.